Hey guys, we're going to do this again. Not sure what happened, but the Facebook Live got cut off. Guess that happens from time to time. So anyway, if you're just joining us live, my name is Vitaly Grinblat, and this is your Daily Dose of Awesome, your 15 minutes of motivation, education, and inspiration brought to you by Elite Marketing Pro. And I was just cut off when I said what we're going to cover today, which is email marketing. And specifically, I want to talk about four types of emails that you should be sending to your list for maximum success and maximum profitability. And hopefully we're not going to get cut off. And I see people are hopping on and clicking the button, so that's cool. All right, so let's jump into it. Let's jump into the topic before the Facebook gremlins attack our Facebook Live again. Hopefully not. Hey Betsy, hi everybody. All right, so four types of emails. Of course, the goal of every email is to make a sale, right? But it goes a little bit deeper than that, and that's what I want to talk to you about. Anytime I sit down to create sales copy, and specifically emails, I always ask myself, what is the goal? What is my objective for this email? And there are different objectives, and that's what I want to talk to you about today. And so the first one is a handshake email. Now, this is only the first type of email, or one type of email that you're going to write just one time. So it's not something you're going to be sending over and over again, but it's a very important email. And this is the first email. This is the welcome email that is gonna. Somebody said that there is no sound. Can you guys hear me? Just want to make sure that you guys can hear me, because this would be really awkward if we had visual but no sound. Okay, it looks like we do have sound. All right, just want to make sure. So it's a handshake. So the first email is the handshake email, and it's a welcome email that you're going to be sending to your list when they first opt in to your list. So they come to your capture page. Maybe they came from a blog post, an ad, doesn't really matter. And they click to opt into your Internet Recruiting Bootcamp or Social Media Recruiting Guide or any kind of free report, whatever you're providing. And so they, thank you, Jill. She says she can hear me. Perfect. So, they opt in, and this is going to be the first email that they're going to receive. And what you need to do as a marketer is you need to really put some thought into what it is that you want to say in that email. Why? Because first impressions are everything, right? And you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. And so in the world of sales, in the world of face-to-face sales, your number one goal, if you've ever been in sales before, then you know that your number one goal when you meet a prospect is to create like and trust and to build rapport. And that is exactly what that first email is designed to do, right? It is designed, you need to create rapport. First, you need to deliver on your promise. So you need to deliver what you promised on your capture page, whatever the lead magnet, whatever the freebie was. And then you got to quickly establish rapport and create like and trust. Because as the old saying goes, people will not do business and people will not buy from anybody that they don't like and they don't trust. And so what you want to do is you want to start building that rapport right from the get-go. And the way you do it is you don't need to tell your entire life story, but you do need to make a connection with people. Now, one of the tips that I'll give you is that people like others who are like themselves. So if you know your market very well, if you know who your market is, then you need to make that, you need to find a story from your past or something about you that's going to resonate with your audience. So I'll give you an example. Network marketing, right? Let's say that you are building a list of network marketers, as I'm sure most people watching this or are going to be watching this replay are doing. And so you know the pain, struggles, frustrations of your market, of that market, right? Of network marketers. And you can tell your story very briefly. You don't need to tell your entire life story, but you can talk about some of the pains and some of the struggles and some of the frustrations that you went through in this business on your journey, okay? And the transformation, right? How you went from, I'm making this up, but how you went from living in a van under the bridge to buying a mansion. Of course, I'm embellishing and exaggerating a little bit, but basically you want to tell your transformational story. Whatever that is. It could be, I suffered for 6 months and I couldn't get anybody to say yes to me. And then I stumbled across the system and now I'm generating leads on a daily basis. I mean, that's a transformational story in a nutshell. And so what you want to do is you want to make that connection point. But when you talk about the fact that you suffered for 6 months and you weren't able to get leads and everybody said no to you or whatever your situation was, that is a connecting point because that is probably the same thing that your audience is suffering with. So a new prospect reading this, they're going to say, you know what, that's just like me. And so there's a connection, right? And they're going to say, yep, this person is just like me in a way. And so that's your objective with the first email. Remember, it's a handshake email. You want to create rapport. You want to build like and trust. right from the get-go, okay? And not focus too much on sales, although you do want to include a link to your product in the first email. There's nothing wrong with it, and you should do that. But that is not the first objective, all right? So that's the handshake email. Really put some thought into it. Now, the second type of email, which is what I send most often, is an engagement type of email, okay? And what an engagement type of email is, the goal is to engage with your audience, okay? To engage meaning to create a connection, okay? To provide some value, to get to continue developing that relationship with your list. Because remember, you probably heard the saying that there's the money in the list, or the money is in the list. Well, that's not 100% accurate, because the reality is that the money is in the relationship you have with your list, right? So you want to build a list, but if you don't have a relationship with that list, it's no good. Your goal is to develop a relationship with your list. And the way you do it is by engagement. And so with an engaging email, what's going to happen is that you're going to develop that, you're going to continue solidifying trust and continue cultivating that relationship, but you're also going to, of course, make sales with it. And so the way you create an engagement email is you don't focus on the product and you don't focus on the sale. You focus on a number of things. So one is stories, okay? My favorite. You can tell stories about yourself, about your life, about your experiences, things that have happened to you. I'll give you a quick example in a second, all right? But these stories have to, of course, relate to your prospect, right? They have to resonate with them, and you have to make a connection between the story and the product that you're promoting. And so, so the point is not just to tell a story and then try to somehow connect it to the product. The point is to find a story from your life that's going to easily connect with your audience, as I'm going to show you in just a second. All right. Another one you can do is you can send quotes. You can promote blog posts. So a couple times a week, we posts. You can send an engagement email and simply promote the blog post. You can maybe you saw a cool video. You can send an email to your list and promote a video. Okay, maybe a Facebook post that you saw somebody post, and you can promote a Facebook post. So all kinds of things you can do to create engagement. So I'll give you a quick example of a story. So this last week we had a company retreat in Florida, and on Saturday I was coming back from Florida, early flight, 6:30 in the morning. I'm at the airport in the terminal, and the security line is it's painfully long. Okay, and as a matter of fact, it even said on the thing 35 minutes wait, and so that. But luckily, a couple of days right before that, I received my TSA pre-check number. Okay, now I don't know why it took me so long, but I finally got it, or why it took me so long to actually apply for it, but I finally did, and I got it. And of course, the TSA line, there's no line, just zip right through. And so I wrote an email about that this morning, and I said, you can wait. So I explained that there's an excruciatingly long, painful line, and you can suffer through it, right? Or you can zip right through when you have a TSA pre-check, right? And it's kind of like, and of course I made a connection to a product. I said, it's kind of like building your business, right? You can take the painful long way and suffer through old prospecting methods. And most people can certainly understand that, because if you've been in this business for 6 months or longer, you know the pain and the suffering you go through with prospecting and chasing after friends and family and trying to drag people to meetings, right? And doing all that stuff, versus using an automated system that's going to automate prospecting for you, help you build your team faster, help you make sales faster. You can zip right through that and become successful a lot sooner with a lot less rejection, if any rejection at all. And so I quickly made that connection. But the point is that the email, I didn't focus in the email too much on selling the product. I focused on the story, okay? And it was basically, I used it as an analogy. And so that's an example of an engagement email. And you can look at your life and you can pull out stories like this from anything that happens to you. You can make stories as you're going through the airport. You can you can take stories out of your life as you're driving down the road and you see an accident happen or something happen. You can make stories out of something that you see in the store, a clerk in a store behave a certain way. You just have to put a little bit of thought and make the connection to what you're promoting. But these engagement emails, they're a lot more interesting and a lot more entertaining to read than if you just promote a product. Would you guys agree with that? Type in 1 into the chat box or into the comment box if you like entertainment a lot more than pure sales pitch. I would assume that everybody likes entertainment more, right? And so that's my favorite type of email, is an engagement. Now, also the third type of email is a pure promotion email. And at times it's okay to do that. At times, it's okay to just promote without anything else. You don't want to do that every time, right? Because if all you do is send pure promotional emails, pure sales emails, your list is going to get burned out and they're just going to stop reading it. But from time to time, it's okay to do that. Maybe you have a special webinar. Maybe you have a special promotion, a special sale, right? Maybe, you've been using a lot of stories and a lot of quotes and a lot of other things in your emails and you just want to send out a pure promotion email. Nothing wrong with it. But here's the key. In a pure sales email, what you want to do is you don't want to focus on the product. You want to focus on the benefits, on what that product will do for your prospect. Because remember, and this is something you always have to keep in mind, that the number one thing that your prospect is thinking about is what's in it for them. The number one thing that you are thinking right now, it's not about me, it's not about the Facebook Live, it's not about anything. You're thinking what's in it for you. You got on this training because you wanted something, right? You want something that's going to help you grow your business, make your life easier, make you more money, and so forth. And so are your prospects. And so if you're going to focus on selling a product, then what you have to do is you have to extract the benefits out of that product. You have to find out how this product is going to make your prospect's life easier, and you have to focus on that and talk about that in your email. And that's how you do a promotion style email. Not by focusing on the product, but by focusing on your prospect and how your product can make their life easier and help them. Okay, basically help them with whatever it is, right? Well, whatever it is the product does. So that's the third type of email. And finally, let me talk to you about the fourth type of email. But I will say, let me just preface it by saying that it's a very powerful type of email and one that you don't want to use too often because otherwise it will lose its power. However, it's an extremely powerful email that only probably the top level marketers use, but most people don't use them. And so that's good because that means that if you do, you'll get more mileage out of it. And that type of email, it's called an anticipation email. And I'm sure you've seen them, but let me explain to you how that works. So let's say you are promoting a webinar that's coming up at the end of the week. I'm just using that as an example. Well, what you can do is you can start creating a little bit of buzz around that event, around that webinar, ahead of time by dropping hints about what's going to be covered. In fact, you may not even say it's a webinar. You may send it out an email and say, you know what, I got something really exciting for you tomorrow, but I'm keeping my lips sealed and I'm going to tell you more about it tomorrow. Now that right there, just simple statement, simple couple sentences, that immediately does what? It creates curiosity. It builds up anticipation, okay? Now, it doesn't have to be a webinar. Let's say you have a product that you haven't promoted in a while, or you've never promoted to your list. Well, what you can do is you can create a little bit of buzz around it and say, you know what, I have something that I want you to take a look at, but I'm not going to reveal it until tomorrow or a couple of days, right? So I'm kind of making this up as I go, but that's an anticipation email where you don't reveal everything right away, but you drop little hints. What that does is it creates an incredible amount of anticipation within your audience, and it creates curiosity. And now they're going to be ready. They're going to be eager and ready to find out what it's all about because it's going to be kind of brewing in their head, right? It's going to be stewing there. They're going to be sitting there waiting for because they don't know what it is. And so it's a very powerful strategy to create anticipation. Now, like I said, you don't want to use it all the time because otherwise it loses its power. And you don't need to build around anticipation or build anticipation around every single thing. But from time to time, it's a great strategy to use. And if you incorporate that into your email marketing, and really into all of your marketing, because you can do the same thing with Facebook, right? You can do the same thing on a Facebook Live. You can create a Facebook Live and just build up a little bit of anticipation around some kind of an event or a promotion that you're doing. And so if you use that, you're going to get, what's going to happen is that creating that curiosity and building up that anticipation is going to help you create a bigger surge of sales and cash flow when the time for the promotion comes. All right. And so those are my 4 favorite types of emails to send. So the handshake email, right? Put some thought into what is it that you want to say on your first contact with your audience. The engagement email, which is my favorite kind. That's the one where you tell stories and provide value and connect it to your product. The promotion email, which you send from time to time where it's a pure promotion. And of course, the anticipation email, which you're not going to use all the time. You're going to use it rarely. But when you do, is going to create a surge of sales and cash flow, right? So handshake, engagement, promotion, and anticipation. And that's all I got for you today, guys. So with that, I want to thank you for tuning in. I apologize we got dropped there. Hopefully everybody was able to join back in. And I look forward to seeing you next time. And if this is your first time and you're not part of the Elite Marketing Pro community, then I encourage you to go to elitemarketingpro.com and check out our Internet Recruiting Bootcamp. We're going to learn all about how to stop prospecting and chasing friends and building your business the old way, and how to use the internet to automate your prospecting and recruiting machine and build your business with a lot more ease and a lot less rejection. And with that, guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.